Good evening, everyone. This is the Town of Eastchester Planning Board meeting of December 5th, 2024. If everyone would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's do the roll call. Jim Bonanno's here. Phil Nemesak.
Present.
Lauren Goodrich.
Present.
Joe Rubino.
Present.
Michael Fortuno.
Present.
Great. There's planning board meetings from minutes from October 24th meeting. If one of you guys can make a motion, Phil, Michael, and Lauren make a motion to approve them.
Yeah.
Subject to Phil's comments.
Yep. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 24th, 2024 planning board meeting, subject to the revisions that I circulated earlier today.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think we have 3 people voting on that. That would be Mike Fortuno and Lauren and myself.
On the agenda, some items have been adjourned and won't be heard at this meeting tonight. For the record, it's the applications of 23-15, Sal's Market and Pizzeria, 2302, 203 Beach Street, 104 and 108 Highland Avenue subdivision, application 24-01, 42 Maple Avenue subdivision, application 23-27, 360 White Plains Road. All will be adjourned to the January 23rd, 2025 meeting. What we are talking about tonight are application 24-25, 34 Water Street, 1 Rigliana Way, 77 Alcamont Avenue, and old businesses 249 Main Street and 27 New Street. So the first application is more administrative, so I'm going to read a bunch of stuff and then we're going to make a motion on it. It's basically the application is a preliminary subdivision plot review for the re-subdivision of the reference lots to divide 3 lots into 4. This is an unlisted action under SECRA. The Planning Board reviewed this application at its June 27, 2024 and September 26, 2024 meetings. At that time, the board declared its intent to serve as lead agency for SECRA. The notice of lead agency has been circulated to other agencies. None have objected. 30 days from the date of the circulation have elapsed. The only action we have to do is declare that we now are lead agency, which I'm going to do. I make a motion to declare Town of Eastchester Planning Board as lead agency for the coordinated review of application 24-25, 34 Water Street, 1 and 3 Rigliana Way subdivision, pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That being done, let's talk about 77 Alcamont Avenue.
It's application 24-36, right?
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Collingham. I'm the architect for 77 Alcamont. This is my colleague, Alex Glass. And this project consists of a single-family house that is currently in a state of severe disrepair. The house was purchased earlier this year, and the project consists of significantly demolishing the roof in the second story, and constructing a 2-story addition with a garage in the basement. The current house is this general volume right here, with the addition being the 2-car garage at the basement level, with a driveway that has a slight slope downward to that basement level. Above the garage addition is a family room, like a great room, and above that is a master suite addition. From the exterior, you can see with the new roof, It's more of a colonial, center hall colonial style. For the materials on the outside, we have some neutral tones of grays and whites. Siding would be hardy plank. The roofing would be architectural asphalt shingles in a charcoal color. Windows are white to complement the white trim. There's a new covered front entry portico as well as a side mudroom entry portico. So we had a couple of meetings with the Architecture Review Board, and they had some comments that we had worked through. On our last meeting, they had some final conditions pending their approval that we had modified the drawings and resubmitted to the planning board that maybe we should run through real quickly. The first kind of note was to include a block diagram that indicated more clearly what was being added and what the existing footprint was. So here's a quick diagram that we added here. So this volume right here was the existing house footprint. There was a cantilevered section in the back of the kitchen that was poorly constructed. It was basically falling off the house with no foundation. So we said, let's remove that. We'll keep the existing foundation. And this volume here is the additional footprint, that garage with the family room and master suite on the second floor. So I think that better identifies what exactly we're doing. Another comment was about some structural changes in the basement. One of the members just wanted to note what we were doing in the basement in terms of demoing the concrete slab and installing new footings, a new girder beam, and just making the basement more of a usable space in the future. And we also had modified some of the windows. The review board was interested to see a window grill pattern on the renderings right there. That was, we call it a 4/1, so four grills over a 1 square grill. So we were receptive to those comments. They also had talked about the attic windows being a little more proportionally accurate with the rest of the windows, so we had tweaked the size and the scale of those windows. They also had requested that we add some sort of horizontal element, a band of 5/4 by 10 material trim to all sides of the building to just kind of break up the sheer verticality of the facades. What else did they have there? They also wanted to see the leaders coming down from the gutters just to make sure that they weren't in any sort of location that was ugly. So we just show them where they would be at the corners of the building, not necessarily in the front, in an unsightly location. They also wanted to see some composite handrails at the front of the house to sort of accent and highlight the front door a little better, so we obliged them there. The top of the retaining wall, they wanted to be a little higher than the planting beds, I guess to just better identify where the wall started. And then the last note was the lighting cut sheets that we included with the planning board submission, just to know sort of what kind of fixtures we were adding, I guess, so they're not too bright and offensive to the neighbors. So that's sort of where we're at with the project. We think what we've proposed here is a major improvement from what currently sits on this lot, and we're excited to get to the next stage and get this project going.
So I was looking at the photos that were submitted of the existing, and it's obviously quite a significant improvement visually.
Thank you.
Aesthetically. But I had a difficult time looking at those photos, discerning, what is there anything presently in the location of the new addition, the family room and master bedroom, the left side of the house? Is there anything there at all right now?
It's just a yard. It's a grass area overgrown with shrubs. The whole property was severely overgrown. But yeah, it's for the most part just a gently sloping yard area.
Yeah, and the entire property slopes down from right to left.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
I guess it would be from east to west. So the side that has the the dugout driveway, if you will, is on the lower part of the property. I did see some of the Architectural Review Board meeting in which some of the members of the board, I remember in particular them discussing the slope down into the driveway and trying to have a little more definition to the left of the door in that area. And I can't remember if it came up at that point or I was just thinking about it, but that is, it is little bit of a drop off of the, at the very highest point next to the house.
Yep.
And the lowest point of the driveway. What's the drop there?
So this
Yeah.
elevation here is
Yes.
6 feet,
6 feet?
and that's the maximum allowable per the zoning code, so that's what we went with.
Got it.
And then we slightly modified some of the grading here to make that work. So we were cognizant about the zoning codes. But given the elevation of the basement, that garage needs to be where it is. So we're just working with the existing topography.
Sure.
Trying to make the most of it.
No, I have no issue with that at all. My only question is, would it be advisable to put some sort of some low fencing or something that would make it more difficult for someone to fall?
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, we were all kids once.
Yeah.
If you're playing in the front yard there and you're chasing a ball, I know you're intending on having plantings there that will
Yeah,
probably
so that
cause,
was-
but that doesn't often stop a kid.
Yeah,
And let's face it, that's the most likely person to do a header, to take a header.
Yeah.
So, I certainly wouldn't want you to put something that is an eyesore there. But I don't know what consideration has been given, if any, to building that up in a way that it's, it doesn't aesthetically, harm the
Yeah.
home, but at the same time would serve as a sort of an additional safeguard against somebody.
Yeah, trying to have like
yeah.
a balance
Yep.
between
Mhm.
work and function.
Because 6 feet onto a driveway is, it could result in a significant
We'll
injury.
put some cushions on the bottom part of it. No, but yeah, maybe there's a way to kind of terrace the steps and put maybe like a first kind of wall here of about 2 feet and try to get this down to maybe 4 feet instead of 6. I think that's something that we could explore.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think the railing would definitely do its job in preventing somebody from falling over, but it might look a little awkward with like a
Yeah.
6-foot and then a 3-foot railing.
Yeah, that's maybe something very sturdy, but light in appearance.
Yeah.
Something that would just serve again the purpose of simply stopping a small person if they were inclined to be wanting to run that way. So,
Do you have a photo of the existing condition?
I don't know if I have any here.
Or I
but we
guess,
had
maybe you could just answer my question, just to
Yeah.
clarify.
Yep.
I'm trying to see it on Google Maps, but there's an existing garage already. This is just an extension off of that, and obviously a renovation of it.
Correct, yep.
So you already have the slope, you already have some type of an old retaining wall there.
Yeah, so
This is really enhancing the entire fact of it, right?
Yeah, so under these 2 windows here, currently there is a garage door, and there is a retaining wall that's about where this walkway ends.
Got it.
So this is gonna be a fill material here, and then we're just pushing or sliding the driveway down the street of Alcamont.
And you said there was already previous comments about the drainage since it's sloping down? One of the other boards?
Yeah, there were. We had added a trench drain in front of the garage doors to capture the runoff from the driveway.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So I think it's very handsome, but just one question or maybe comment that you can answer. Where's the rendering? Could you just put that back up? The front elevation's fine. That's fine. Yeah, could you just put it up there and let Gary zoom in on it, please? So the band, that white band, is that proud of the plane of the hardy plank?
On the side, yes, that's 5/4, so that's 1-inch material. And then the hardy plank varies because of the angle. It's about 3/8.
So it'll come out a little bit. It's
Yep.
not, because it looks a little bit flat over the window. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but,
Yeah, so all the window trim, the corner boards in this band are all going to be built of 5/4 material, and that's typical for siding.
it'll stand
too.
out a little bit.
Yeah, that's 1 inch. So it's 5/4 nominal, 1 inch actual.
Okay, all the way around,
Yep, yeah.
all the elevations, okay.
Yeah, I like the way it matches up with the little portico as well. That
Yeah,
it does
exactly.
give it some depth.
Okay.
So is there something we can consider doing about, I don't know that we would want to hold this up, but I would like you to consider seriously putting some sort of a safety railing of some sort,
Yeah.
in that area, just to avoid, and without, we certainly don't want anything big and obnoxious that's going to detract from the appearance, but I think you can probably do something, and just put it there. It maybe even will get, almost swallowed up by the plantings.
Yeah.
But I think I'd feel a lot better knowing that that's there.
Even if it was, say, like 2 feet high, it would be better than nothing.
Yeah, a couple
The,
feet.
the
yeah.
code requires, for the residential code, you don't need the
Yes.
railing there because there's no walkway, but we can do a 2-foot railing that still provides some safety.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you, it may not be a requirement, but
Yeah.
I just think it's advisable. And I'm sure you can do something that is not heavy, but serves the purpose.
Okay.
Finish? What, no, I'm saying, what finish would that be?
I think it would be white to match the rest of the railings.
Okay. All right, let's do the public hearing. So, I make a motion to open the public hearing on application 24-36, 77 Altamont Avenue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Seeing that there's no comments, I make a motion to close the public hearing on this application, 24-36, 77 Altamont Avenue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I don't have any other comments.
Oh, that's a good.
Other than, I think it's handsome. It's
Yep.
good. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
I don't
much.
think you've been here before, have you? Have you been in
Not to
Eastchester?
the planning.
Oh, good. Oh, not to the planning. Well, come back.
Nice to meet everybody. Hope you come back soon. Not too soon, though.
This goes along. So there's some text here, and I'll read it just for the record. I make a motion to approve application 24-36, 77 Altamont as submitted, subject to the following conditions. Right, the applicant shall add the following note to the site, that the top of the retaining wall shall not be flush to grade. Not only that, but as Mr. Nemisek said, we'd like the railing, the white on top of that. So we're gonna raise it 6 inches plus put the railing. Is that right? Okay, good. And the approval authorizes the applicant to undertake only activities specifically depicted on the plans as modified by this resolution. Any changes or modifications to these plans required amended site plan approval from the planning board. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Have a nice holiday.
Yep. Happy holidays, Happy New Year.
The next application is Next application is 23-30, 249 Main Street and 27 New Street. While you guys set up, I'm just going to summarize where we've been, where we're going, and all that for the viewing public. So this applicant originally proposed a 6-story, 25-unit multifamily building. The plan was subject to review by the board and its consultants. At the October 24th meeting, the board reviewed the potential environmental impacts of the application. After that review, the board asked the planning department to prepare a positive declaration for this application because it was the sense of the board that the proposed building, 6-story building, in this location would be out of character with the size and scale of buildings in the surrounding neighborhood and would have the potential to negatively impact the surrounding community. After that, the applicant submitted a letter asking to refrain from preparing the positive declaration to give themselves an opportunity to propose an alternate plan to mitigate the impacts identified by the planning board, and the staff agreed to do so. So that gets us to here, 4-story building. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, David Smith, Principal with Planning and Development Advisors. I'm here tonight on behalf of Angela Agavino, who's the applicant at Eastchester Manor Developers, LLC. Thank you for the summary of the last meeting. I think it was a productive meeting. There was a lot of commentary which my client has taken to heart with respect to the potential impacts of the project. The project has been modified. The project design, and Mr. Agavino will go through that in more detail, but just to summarize, the prior proposal included a 6-story building with 25 units, a mix of 1 and 2-bedroom units, 15 one-bedroom and 10 two-bedroom, supported by 38 parking spaces. The project has been revised, so now it's a 4-story building consistent with the zoning height for that district. The interior has been modified, the unit mix has been modified, so now it includes 25 one-bedroom units, all within the 4-story building, proposed building. So there are, I think, a couple of procedural issues that we still need to take care of. We were receipt of a memo from your land use consultant dated November 25th. There are some items that we need to clean up, make sure that the engineering plan and the architectural plan are completely consistent. We've been asked to submit to the building inspector for a new or revised notice of denial. So those are things that we still need to move forward on. But with that, I'm going to let Mr. Agavino walk through the changes in the site plan, and then we can revisit the process before we continue.
Great, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Angelo Agavino. I'm the owner of the property and developer. The new project, we have went back, my team, and we really sat down and we really got down to it. My team really, they did a great job on coming up with this different idea. I think hopefully you guys like it. I'm going to go through it. I will talk about the layout of the floors. On our first floor, we have 4 one-bedroom apartments, and we kept some parking in the rear here. We added some parking along the left and right side of the structure. The parking in the back pretty much stayed the same. Then we have the typical this is the cellar plan. So in the cellar we have recreation room, a laundry storage. For each apartment we're going to have, depending on the apartment, if they want to have storage, we have storage rooms back down here. We had it in the other plan, but we moved, instead of laundry being in the apartments are a little bit smaller. We put the washer dryers down in the basement, and we had a small utility room in the other apartments. Now all the utilities are going to stay in the basement. So on the typical floor above the first floor, and there's 3 floors, 21 apartments, 7 per floor, all 1 bedrooms. They vary from size. They are around 500 to 650 square feet, depending on each apartment where they are located, but they're typical for the 3 floors going up. We changed the look of the outside of the building a bit. We added some more brick. Obviously, the garages came out. So we went, almost 3/4 of the way up a brick, the rear of the building. The back of the building is going to be brick too, but it's going to be, it's like a brick facade that gets hung on. It looks the same as brick. It gets the brick join and everything, and it will look the same as the front and the sides. But since it's over the back here, not to add a tremendous amount of weight with steel and build it, so it would be like, you know, it's hung up very thin veneer brick just on the back, but it's going to be brick as well. Do you guys have any questions?
Sure, I see the brick on the lower, is that also brick on the top floor, or is that a different finish?
No, so we're going to do the Hardy, the gray
What is it?
vertical, Hardy board.
Oh, that's hardy board.
Yeah, Hardy, and we're doing AZAC, you know, the
Yeah, that's
plastic
all AZAC.
trim.
Got it. AZAC on the top.
Yeah, so this would be like Hardy board, cement board pieces. They come in like big sheets, but 10 by 4 sheets, and we would do this portion here, and then the top would be, this would be, it's a white material, basically lasts forever. It's either cement board or plastic. But when they're next to each other, AZAC, it's you know, a type of if you want, I could bring in a sample for you guys. It's a
And
typical.
those balconies are usable, or just for?
Yes, they're
They
usable.
are.
We have,
So 6 of the units would have them?
yes, the front and the back. Let me see. So, no balcony, obviously, on the first floor. So the front 2 and the back 2.
Okay.
Is the, okay, how does the footprint of the new proposed application compare to the footprint of
It's
the
exactly
previous
the
one?
same.
Okay, it's the same,
The-
okay. That was my assumption.
Cellar
yeah.
plan, the dimensions of the cellar plan are exactly the same. The only thing, what we did was we closed the parking, and we added the 4 apartments on the first floor, but we kept the back portion. It's exactly the same, but we moved the handicap back there, so we took out a spot that was back there, and it became a handicap spot.
Okay, so the proposed structure is,
Identical.
let's say for all intents and purposes, the lower 4 floors of the previous application, the massing is the same, but
Exactly.
but the other one was 6, this is 4. But, but the footprint.
All 4 walls are pretty much the same.
And the orientation, it's in the property in exactly the same spot,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay.
Are you gonna keep going, or?
No, I just, if you have any other questions.
Well, there's bulkheads up there on the roof?
There is.
Can we see them in the elevation, and how tall are they?
Do you want me to pull up the plan of the 3D?
Just stair bulkheads.
So it's about, I don't have an elevation, I remember it being around 3 feet based off a code.
Yeah.
So from the ceiling joist to the top here, there's gonna be a little bit of a, so when
No,
you're
I
up in the
mean
roof, you're gonna have,
I mean the stairs, you have a roof
Oh.
plan? Yeah,
yes,
that, right, that's what you can see there. That's the only thing that projects, that's the only piece that projects above the
yes,
parapet elevation, right? I guess.
here's the roof plan.
Is there an elevator or no?
I'm sorry?
Must be.
Is there an elevator?
Shaft on that,
There is an elevator, but it doesn't go up to the roof.
Oh, okay.
it's on the rendering one. Show it.
And obviously, a significant change from the prior application and the, let's just call them 1, 2, and 3, because there was one we approved, right? That was technically a prior application. I think it had 20 number in front of it, I think. So that was the 4-story one we approved. But that proved unfeasible, and so you came back with this application, 23-30, but it was 6 stories, 25 units, 10 2-bedroom units, and 15 1-bedroom units. This revised version, it's version 3, 3.0, certainly addresses the massing concern, and the 4 stories would not require a variance, as I understand it. But there's still 25 units, which kind of cuts both ways. I don't think you're going to have too many concerns with the school population, because single bedroom units, people don't tend to stay there very long after they have a kid. So that probably cuts in your favor, although I don't know that there was a major consideration that the schools will be overflowing in any event.
The school sent a letter.
Yeah. So I know we dealt with that, but we do have on the whole, I guess, smaller units. As you said, they're not going to have laundry in each unit, but you're still going to have 25 units, and that would probably. There may be a slightly lesser traffic issue with 25 units, maybe not. I don't know the answer to that. The number of units is the same. The fact that you now have 10 2-bedroom units that are now 1-bedroom units, I don't know how that cuts one way or the other. I don't think it would mean that you'd have more people. It probably means you have less. I don't know whether that has any effect on the number of vehicles. I don't know if it has an effect on the number of parking spaces that you need. I don't know the answer to that.
We're going to require a variance because
Yeah.
we
Do you still require the same number of parking spaces as you previously did, which was, I think it was 46 or something like
no less.
38.
So we're
that? Okay.
That's what I remember reading. I'm wrong.
we require 38 spots. We have 30.
Okay.
It still requires a variance.
So the variance is less severe now?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Did you have fewer parking spaces available now, or is it the same number that you had before?
So we,
I think you said you removed one.
we had parking underneath the building instead
Yeah.
of the 4 apartments.
Got it.
So we took out, I think we had 42 spots. Dave, do you have the exact number?
36, yeah. I think you needed 42 or something like that.
So we lost 6
Yeah,
spots.
Yeah.
We also, we lost more spots, but we added 2 spots along the side of the building over here where there was parking. We could fit another car here.
Okay.
But we're not proposing that because for
Yep.
deliveries, and I want to have the truck be able to
Sure.
go in. And based off of the traffic engineer, he believes that this is a good flow and we have enough spots based off of studies that
Sure.
have been done.
Yeah, again, I'm not here to decide what's, I'm just trying to wrap my head around, what's changed, because, if you had said, okay, we're just taking the top 2 floors off, we're otherwise building it exactly the same, it probably wouldn't, meet your requirements of how much money this has to throw off, or you wouldn't have come back to us in the first place. But I want to understand exactly what this application 3.0, I'll call it, looks like. And so it's 25 units, just as the last one, but they're all one bedroom. And there are first floor that were not there the last time.
Yeah, there was no apartments on the first floor. It was
So,
only
and that
parking
required reconfiguring the first floor, which included the removal of certain parking spaces and the addition of certain parking spaces around the perimeter. So it's a net loss of parking spaces, but at the same time, it seems like you may require fewer parking spaces for the variance. So that's something to consider. And, the other consideration, of course, is what, you know, this, and these are all rentals, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to have 25 single-bedroom rental units. Okay.
Now that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jim.
So now that there's no more washer dryers in the units, how many, I guess, commercial style washer dryers are you intending on having in the basement for all the users? As far as the amount of space you're allocating?
I haven't really got into that, but I'm assuming, you know, probably 5 and 5, based on the size of the room. Maybe I could fit more. The more, the better.
Yeah, okay. And I think, and it's also intended for rental
Yeah.
in that
So,
sense?
you know, it's in my benefit. The more machines,
Yep.
the more it's.
Right. Also to the residents that are gonna be
Yeah,
using it,
so
so.
it's just, the more I could put there, the better it would be for the tenants, and
Yeah.
they would be happier instead of going to a laundromat.
Great.
Unfortunately, we couldn't fit it in the apartments, so I had to.
Maximize whatever you could, yeah.
We do
So,
have a gym down there as well. That, I don't know if you saw that in a little
It's always
recreation
good.
room, so.
you summarized what you've done rather nicely. You've taken 2 stories off the building. So everything that was reviewed before, particularly with the fire department, remains. I mean, are they going to look at, I guess in the end, they're going to look at, but we would expect their comments to be no greater than what they were for the other building?
I spoke with the chief, Eastchester Fire Chief. He likes the new idea, the new building. Obviously, it's less risk for him and his department. I think he's gonna downgrade what he's requiring, but we're still gonna do the standpipes and the sprinklers, you know, because I don't want any problems. But I'm gonna set up a meeting with him. I asked him, he just, before the holidays, he didn't have any time to sit down and meet. But we still have the spot where he wants. He you know, we're gonna do the standpipes, and it's just all about like the type of construction that he's gonna require, which I'm probably gonna do the same as we did before, but, you know, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I guess what I'm talking about is I kind of remember there was a spot he wanted to be able to pull the truck in to access the
So
building.
we didn't change
doesn't
that. We're gonna still, we have that same, he wants an area right here
Right,
between, I think it's these 4 spots in the front 2 right here. He's gonna be able to put his ladder and access the back of the building.
that doesn't really change.
Yeah, and right now, they're parking, as I said, I think in the last meeting, I explained to you guys, they parking their new ladder in the back of New Street, and they pull out of New Street. At some point, they're gonna move it into this big ladder into a different firehouse, he was telling me, and they're gonna be accessing it probably from Main Street and pulling in, but it's the same thing. He's gonna set up, God forbid there's a fire in this building, he's gonna set up here and be able to access the rear of the building and come up. But it's the same, I have the same spot for him, everything's the same, it's just, you know,
Right.
the height.
But I guess if that does transpire, the amount of runs they're going to be making out of that firehouse to here goes to 0 because it's coming from someplace else, right? The ladder, if that indeed happens, yeah.
Yeah, we can only plan for what's there now, I guess, unless there's a definitive plan that we can look at.
So the only other comment I had, and I don't know, you're going to speak to him again? The fire? You know, it's, in addition to the burden of having to respond to real fires, there's false alarms. Does he have any information on number of false alarms per unit such that it would be worse? Or what it would be for this? Just so we have an idea.
I could ask him, I don't know.
I'm curious,
He's not concerned. This building is gonna be, connected to their central station, so they'll be able to get, you know, this apartment had the smoke go off, everything is gonna be, you know, as per the new code of New York State, every apartment's gonna have its own, and the central station will get you know, apartment 2A, who got their smoke detector go off, and they'll be responding. It's not like they have to go in and, you know, the old ones, they have to look at the panel and see, it's all pretty much digital, and they get all the information.
Oh, that's how they silence them, digitally? They don't have to
I don't
appear?
know how I'm not 100% sure if they probably have to go there to the panel, but they would know exactly, instead of the buildings now, the older buildings that are, you know, we have a couple of buildings that have the fire system, hey, there's a fire in this building, or something went off.
Right, okay.
This is gonna be all digital and be able to communicate
Because
live.
I remember some members of the public came in here and they were concerned about how many runs they were coming out, going around the block, going back. If we had some information that could allay their concerns about,
This building is also going to have sprinklers, so they would get, God forbid there's a fire, they would know it's a real fire because they'll get a flow alert. So it will have sensors on the fire system that will alert the fire department, hey, listen, we have water flowing. And they'll know it's a live, I mean, they're going to take every call as a live fire, but this fire sprinkler system will have that ability to
That
send them
monitor.
the data.
so the only other comment I had, and maybe we addressed it once before, maybe we didn't, or maybe we can bring it back up, it's about deliveries and delivery trucks. Where do you foresee that occurring?
So, we changed the flow a little bit for delivery trucks based on that comment. Most UPS trucks and Amazon trucks can make the turn around the building. What we're doing is we're putting, a clearance height, no trucks above 9 feet to make the turn. Because if there is a big truck and anything, so what we wanna do is the delivery trucks would come in from Main Street, go out on New Street if it's a big truck, like a garbage truck or a moving truck, or they can come in on New Street and go out this way. So this is gonna be a two-way road only for trucks above 9 feet. And my traffic engineer, he'll go more into it in detail, but we're gonna put signage that shows that. So a garbage truck would either, I'm not sure which way they would wanna come in, or a moving truck could come in this way and come out here, but they wouldn't go circulate around the building, anything about 9 feet.
My question is more about the delivery trucks, and you said they're not gonna be parking on residential streets, they're gonna be pulling in. Where are they actually?
That's why we kind of left this spot open. It was like I could fit another car here, and here, so the truck would pull in here, unload, load, and then no matter what, and the Amazon or the UPS or whoever is delivering, they're delivering to not every house, but that's their route. They're driving down that road anyway, and they're gonna pull in here and pull out, and, however, they're not just gonna come just for this building.
But there's gonna be a designated spot for them to park, which you just indicated?
Yeah, so
They're
there's gonna be a
for
cutout here of,
For deliveries?
yeah, so
Gotcha.
this is where we designed for
No, I had the same
the
question.
garbage truck to come in, and we have the garbage lift here. So it's gonna be, again, a compactor in the basement, and it's gonna be brought up.
So it's basically a standing zone, so this way other people could still drive around.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, listen, you know the way these guys are, they're gonna probably block everything or whatever, but.
As long
there's
as you
gonna
have
be
a spot for
Yeah.
them, that's what we care about, yeah.
Hold on, garbage is on Main Street, in the front? Where's the
No,
garbage?
There's a garbage room in the basement.
Right.
That's gonna be cooled and heated as per needed, and it's gonna go down into the compactor and put into bins and transported from the basement from a garbage lift. So they'll be able to push it out from the basement, and there's a lift that brings it up onto the first floor, and so there's no garbage gonna be stored anywhere on the property that you guys see it. It's gonna be stored in the basement in a conditioned space.
But where's it gonna come out to the street?
If you look at the site plan, there's a little marking.
Yeah, I see that. Can't we do it in the back?
I'm sorry?
Can't we do it in the back rather than,
It's not gonna sit there, it's just, as the truck's there, it's gonna come up and,
well, I'm saying to alleviate the truck from stopping in front of the building. To be more unsightly.
I mean, there's a truck gonna stop there no matter what, because that's the front door. The delivery guys are gonna come there, it's not the garbage guy or somebody else. Not,
So this is a compactor room. That were compacted, it was stored here, and then raised into the conveyor belt outside. Once the truck comes,
Can you identify yourself for the record?
okay, Antonio Freda, architect.
Good, yeah. We have a reporter who takes down, and she'll want to know that you're speaking.
So basically, all the garbage from every floor will be collected in a waste disposal room and sent down the chute. If it's recyclable, then it's left there, and then they'll bring it down with the elevator into the recycling room. And then this is regular waste, garbage, and that will be compacted, stored. Once they make the deliveries are scheduled, they'll bring them out, put them in the truck and leave. And that's what,
You know what, I apologize. You guys aren't here to explain the garbage
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah,
But I am. We're supposed to be talking about bigger
yeah.
issues, but thank you for answering.
Yeah,
the area could be refrigerated, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. It's always about the garbage. How you get it in and how do you get it out, right? Like every job, how do you get the garbage out? Great, thank you. So the only other comment I had was, in general terms, do you know the difference in height between this building and the 6-story building? Like how much the height was reduced, just so we could bring that across?
Each floor was roughly about 9 feet.
Yeah, so it's like 20 feet. Okay. And I imagine when
Give or
you,
take a few inches,
yeah,
I want you to.
you know, it's more about it, in addition to the height, the maximum height of the building is no longer needs a variance, it's how it looks in the streetscape. So if, then, when you guys come back, we need to kind of see how this, did you guys do a presentation last time?
Yeah, yeah.
We have.
It was a very effective presentation, I thought.
I don't think I was here for that.
No, you weren't, but it was like a AI drone, you know, kind of viewpoint. Yeah,
Yeah, they did a great job.
yeah, well, it was a very effective presentation. Yeah, definitely the massing on this is much more manageable. You know, that's fairly obvious.
So the house to the left, the firehouse, not the whole firehouse, but a portion of the firehouse with the tower is here. So this is,
So really, the bulwark on top is roughly the same, at the same level as the,
yeah, I mean, don't forget, there's a building
yeah,
that's.
I know, the bigger one, yeah.
that's
New-
2 stories higher
9 New
than-
Street, yes.
The one that right to the right of the firehouse is tremendous.
Correct, and that was the one that was, that
Yeah.
the proposed 6-story was going to be right around, within a
Within an
few
inch,
inches.
a couple inches of each
Yeah,
other.
okay. But this is plainly
So this is gonna be-
much more manageable scale.
You don't have a back elevation, do you? With the view from New Street, do you?
No, I don't.
I mean, that rendering is from back there, but if you could do
Yeah, I mean-
that also.
Honestly, I do. I have, yes. It's set really far back from actual New Street, so there's a lot and a parking lot, and, you know, there's a good amount of space between, if you're standing on New Street and looking back at the building, you know, there's, what is this lot? This is over, it's gotta be at least 100 and, maybe 120, 130 feet from the curb of New Street. So looking back into New Street, it's,
Yeah. It's not fronting on the street, it's set back quite a bit.
yeah, I mean, on Main Street, it's gonna be a bit
Yeah, it's going to
bigger,
be up
yeah,
there.
It's there.
Because you're right at the curb line, pretty much. But New Street, we have,
Okay. I don't have any more questions.
Okay, so what is it that we're doing today?
Today, we're just, no, today, the
Other than
purpose of this
hearing-
meeting.
Yeah,
Purpose of the meeting is to introduce and review this proposal. That's it. See what you got, just give our nod, like, say, yes, I think, I appreciate what you guys did, heading in the right direction, see if there's any more comments from the public. It's basically present the project. I don't think we're doing anything beyond that today.
yeah, and I was the acting chair at the last meeting, as you well know, and I reread the transcript of the hearing, you know, because I do so every month, both to refresh where we are on existing applications as well as to make any corrections to it. And I do know that, you know, I was pretty, I think I was pretty clear as to what it was that I found, you know, was not really working on the prior application, and I believe the other 2 members of the board, Ms. Goodrich and Mr. Fortuno, who were here that night as well, shared largely in those sentiments. So I can tell you that this is a much, as I said it before, a much more manageable massing So I think you've very squarely addressed that, and you know, you don't even need a variance for it. So and the fact that we approved previously a 4-story, you know, certainly bodes well. That I would say that. That's not to say, you know, that this is a perfect application. We'll work through it and see if we can't fine tune
I
it.
just wanted to, sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no problem.
This building is pretty much identical in the layout of the first building that was
Yep.
proposed.
Mm-hmm.
Just
That's what I was
not
about to say.
exactly to the T, but within
Mm-hmm.
a couple feet. So,
Yes,
you know, just so.
It's a long time ago.
but yeah,
But to that point, that first one, that was actually before my time, so just to
yeah.
have some clarity.
There's actually only two board members here, the
Def-
chairman and myself, who were on the board that approved that original one. So
The first one was approved, and then I think you ran into
Yeah.
different situations, and that's why you
The
came back.
wires, it was a tremendous amount of work to come compliant with the fire department.
Got it.
So what's changed? The route?
The access, the lot on New Street.
Oh, you got New Street,
So
so they
Yes.
can.
now I have
That's right, yeah.
the access for the fire.
That's right.
Before, I
You-
had to take down the wires in the front. It was a
Right.
tremendous, it
That's
was
why you
very
guys-
difficult to even get an answer. I had to kind of, even for them to do the work.
Not-
Because
Not this decade.
unfortunately, the feed for all of Bronxville comes from that pole. So if it was 2 poles down, it's a different story. So it was just, even to get them to even consider to put a price on it or come and meet was a tremendous amount. And even,
Yep.
I don't even know if they would actually follow through because, you know, the way Con Ed is, so.
okay, so those are my sentiments.
Yeah, so,
I think, Mr. Chairman, that it was my understanding that I guess this is a preliminary pass at what they're thinking.
Yes.
To kind of maybe get some feedback. I just wanted to be clear to the applicants, the board's not directing you to submit a plan for 4 stories or whatever. I think this is, you know, an opportunity that you had to explain to the board what direction you're going in to address some of the concerns that were raised in the past. And I'm sure the board appreciates that. But I think there are issues with the submission that have to be finalized and so on.
I took the feedback from the last, this has nothing to do with anything that the
I
board
understand.
says. We were considering doing 1 story less, we sat down and my design team, they designed this, and I'm 100% behind it. It has nothing to do with it, and I'm trying to make it as easy as a path to go through the process. And, you know, I'm an Eastchester guy, I want it to be an Eastchester building, I want you guys to love the building, and I want to build something that you guys love.
well, thank you. If we weren't amenable to this, we'd be telling you.
Yep.
So, it's, you know, we think what you've done is presentable. I think it's going to enhance that area, and it certainly respects the community a lot more than the larger building.
But we'll hear from the
Mr.
community.
So, Mr. Chairman, in light of the revisions to the plan in response to the comments, one of the things that we're hopeful is that at the next meeting, you would consider an environmental determination with respect to this application. We understand that we still need to work on curing the plans, the engineering and the architectural plans. We understand that we still need to coordinate with the building inspector, and Angela's going to reach out to the fire department, but we're hopeful that at your next meeting, you may consider the environmental determination with respect to this application. And then that would allow us to move forward with the next steps going to the zoning board.
Right, being that you guys did such a good job running through the form at the prior meeting, it's probably follows that the next one will go pretty much the same. So yes, I think we'll be in the position to
Yep, no promises, but
No,
we understand where you're coming from.
We just want to make that
Yeah,
request,
yeah,
and we
that's-
appreciate it.
that's fair.
Thank you.
I don't see why not, unless you change something. But don't do that. So this is still an open public hearing, nobody out there. So then if we're all done, are you guys done? Because I think we are. We're done with questions, you guys are done presenting. Does your traffic engineer have nothing?
No, I don't
Came
think
for
we.
the show,
Yep.
got it.
No, this is an overview. I think that's, and as I understand it, a big part of why you're here is to present the modified 3.0 and to make sure that we're not, holding our noses, and we're not, Okay?
And you've been successful. So before you go, so I'm just going to make a motion to continue the public hearing on this application, 2330, 249 Main Street and 27 New, to the planning board's January 23rd, 2025 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're all done. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Christmas,
Merry
Happy New
Christmas,
Year.
Merry
Little-
Christmas.
little Boxing
then-
Day, Kwanzaa, you
sorry?
name
So I make a motion to adjourn the December 5th, 2024 planning board meeting. Next meeting is January 23rd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.